Hello, welcome to my channel. This is part 2 of my diorama build. You may remember last time that I built up and painted this diorama. But as you may have noticed, it's looking a little bit bare. It needs some additional terrain. So let's take a look at what we're going to use to enhance this diorama. I have these resin items from World Gaming, along with this industrial accessories box from Terrain Crate. Let's start off by taking a look at these resin casts. Here we have computer consoles, crates and barrels. Like with all resin casts, the resin needs to be poured in at one end, and this is the end that needs a little bit of tidying up. And now onto the painting. We're going to start with a couple of coats of white undercoat. Now that's done, I'm going to move on to the base coat, which is going to be black. And once again, this needs a couple of coats. And now I'm going to add yellow to the raised areas of the crates. Black and yellow always work well together. I'm going to dry brush on some silver to cast the edges and make it look like there's metal underneath this paint. The computer terminals require a lot more work, so first of all I paint the monitors green. Once that's done, I paint the grills in silver. After that I paint the keypad in grey. And there's another little keyboard just under the small monitor. There's also a big button which requires a dab of red paint. Using an off-white colour, I paint the black on top. There's a pipe on top which I paint a dark brown. And there's two more at the front as well. I once again give it a silver dry brush to bring out the edges. go over selective areas with a brown wash to help it look aged. Any excess paint I dab off with a tissue. Right, let's move on to the terrain crate box. Now there are 4 packets here, 2 sets of them are identical. We're only going to use one set. There's a lot of parts to assemble with this lot. And for the gluing, I'm just using standard model glue. That took me quite a while to assemble all this lot. There's one more thing to do before going to painting. That's to damage this pipe. By adding some damage we can make it look like this pipe has corroded, and that way we can show off the content inside. And now it's a matter of painting on the undercoat. For the smaller pipe we're going to paint it copper. The paint is a little bit thin, so it takes me 2 or 3 coats to cover it all. For the larger pipe I paint them dark grey. Once again it takes me a couple of coats to get full coverage. I also paint the remaining component dark grey as well. I paint the stand from the smaller pipe in black. I add a couple of drops of black wash to the maintenance hatch and brush it in. This will help it make it look older and used. I dry brush the thin pipes with white paint. This will catch on the raised areas and bring out some of the detail. And then I add a few drops of black wash and brush them in. And for the large pipe, I use a light grey for the connecting rings. And while I've got this light grey paint out, I paint on some smaller details on some of the other accessories. And using some white paint, I give every item a dry brush. And now to add some toxic green paint. I'll drop some onto the side vents as well. And then brush it in. And now I'm adding some dark rust colour. This is predominantly on the damaged areas. And then add some orange rust. And this is added in the area where it's been rusted for quite some time. Now I'm adding some silver dry brushing to make it look like some of the paint chipped off. Followed by a basic black wash to dirt everything up a little bit. And now for the messy stuff. I'm going to add a few drops of this UV resin over the toxic spillage areas. And using the back end of a brush, I push it to where it needs to go. Now this is UV resin, which means it will only cure under a UV light. So it just needs a couple of minutes under my UV torch. And now to seal it all in with matte sealer. pieces are now complete and are ready to be added to the diorama. Now let's add some miniatures and a little bit of atmosphere. Now, as you can probably tell, I don't have enough miniatures yet, so that's something I'm going to have to work on in future videos. But at least for now, I don't have to worry about where I'm going to display them. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if I can do it, so can you.